AT&T's been fucking up all across North Texas.
Really? That almost gets me. Almost.
All right, let's flip this around.
Really close.
You ready?
You guys are live.
Hey everyone, it's Collins from Sawgrass Fishing Rods. I'm here with Captain Scott Null, and we're about to host a happy hour at the Sawgrass warehouse. And we're really excited about the project you and I've been working on for off the record 2 years, but mostly it was just getting you fishing together and figuring out fishing rods, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I don't know how many different blanks we tried out over that amount of time. Different blanks, different size eyes, just working on every little piece of it to make it right.
Yeah, and so what are we trying to achieve?
I fish out of Port O'Connor, and I'm fishing for tarpon anywhere from 70 to 80 pounds, give or take. And so I need a rod that's got plenty of butt on it to fight the biggest fish, but also light enough tip to throw lures, because that's all I do. I don't do bait. I don't do all that.
So what we were trying to create, right, let me sort this out just a second, is this actually, it probably started more than 2 years ago. It started before Sawgrass with you and me just fishing together. We were trying to figure out the right rod for an angler to throw an artificial at a Texas tarpon, with the caveat that a lot of those tarpon are caught off of jigs.
Right.
Which changes, it's not quite a Florida Keys fish, it's just the more of a combat fishing scenario,
Yeah.
rather than,
You need a tough rod. I mean, we can't fish with the fragile lighter rods.
yeah, the higher modulus
The higher
material
modulus and all
would
that.
be the nerd way to say it.
Yeah, I don't talk nerd. I like a tough rod, and I got customers on there that some of them hadn't fished a whole lot, and they don't know how to fight a fish with a nice high modulus rod, and being able to fight one with something a little heavier duty is going to be nice.
And though this bait is a beast,
That's a little
you
big.
also need to be able to cast anything from, there's a DOA, which is an awesome company, lure called a Bait Buster, and it's regardless of whether it's saltwater, inshore, if you're looking for like and we have no dog in this fight, like a 1.5 to 3 inch kind of swim bait pattern, incredible bait. So you'd have to be able to throw from a small DOA Bait Buster to something potentially this big,
Yeah.
and this is pretty heavy. And aside from making the cast, the rod has to be able to hook the fish, land the fish, and survive the fight.
Right, but also manipulate a lure. With a lot of the stiffer
Correct.
rods that are so strong to fight a big fish like that with enough butt to fight a large fish, you have no tip on it. So you can't cast the
That's
lighter
well said.
rod, but you also can't work the lure properly. You can't make it dance, you can't make it do things that it needs to do in front of a fish to get it to eat.
So as we started to sort all those out, we made a few prototypes, and then we ended up on one blank design, but it took us a while to figure out power. Took us a while to figure out power, length, and configuration.
Right.
So
That first one that we did, it was great for casting. I could sling a DOA Bait Buster that was a 1 ounce to 1.5 ounce lure. I could sling it a long ways. But then I hooked a very, very large tarpon on it, and it bit,
you don't have to brag.
it bit it all the way into the handle.
You know.
And I decided we needed something with a little more butt on it.
So what we came up with, right, is 8 rods,
Right.
which was originally going to be a 3-rod series, but we build rods and we fish, so it always expands organically. So we have 4 7-foot variations,
Right.
4 7.5-foot variations, and before we go like deep into it, and we're running out of time because we're going to bore people, but before we get too deep into it, let's think about all the series, or all the fish this will be applicable to, because I love cobia or lean fishing, and you and I've done it in the summer together out of my boat. It's not just a tarpon rod, it'd be a beautiful, like floating offshore structure. Throw a plastic swim bait to it. What else?
Tarpon, kingfish, jacks, even snapper.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna be
you
able to
could
catch-
vertically.
Yeah, we can vertically jig and catch snapper on this thing. Tarpon, it's gonna be great for any fish out there that I throw lures to, which is pretty much anything that swims on the beachfront.
So what we're dealing with, and how we built it, how we figured out over 2 years of just drinking beer as friends, and now drinking beer as coworkers, how we built it is we picked a hybrid one. So it's got a fiberglass and carbon fiber bias. So the fiberglass makes it more survivable, gives it more forgiveness relative to casting a heavier bait. And we figured out, and we got to be a little careful here because there's like a 32-pound lure right here.
That thing's huge.
But we figured out casting configuration. We're going to do massive double foot guides all the way down, and same with the spinning configuration. Neither of these are cosmetically correct. They'll be cosmetically accurate on our website shortly, but both of them are going to have a gimbal, but a rubberized gimbal, so it's comfortable to stick it in your gut, fight that fish, and
It's the rounded one without the sharp edges on it.
yeah, you wouldn't have to have a fighting belt, but if you wanted to put it in a rod holder, troll for kingfish, or like even a kiddo wanted to fight a tarpon, you could put a little fighting belt on them and give them a little bit of leverage. So pretty much just the ultimate in survivability on a rod and fishability on a rod.
Well, what's happened over the last couple of years is I've had a lot of your high modulus rods, and I've got customers that high stick.
I am shocked.
Customers don't really know what they're doing when they got a big fish next to the boat and he takes a dive. People who don't know how to stick it, they do this.
I do
And no
that.
rod is made to do that.
I do that.
And-
Everyone does it.
It happens.
You get excited. You see a fish
Yeah.
right there. You want to land it right then,
Right.
or you want to boat flip it to go help your buddy, and
Yeah.
you high stick it.
And-
If you make a rod bend like a candy cane, I don't care whose it is.
Yeah.
It's gonna break.
So that's why we kept going back to this. And I think these are such tough rods. The ones that I had last summer, the prototypes that are this rod that, we just kind of mocked up. We abused the hell out of them last year. We did the ISO Scott Null test.
Scott and Null ISO
And,
test,
So
which we'll talk about later. Different video.
we beat the hell out of them, and they're holding up fantastic. I had a guy with a jack on that it was a 30-pound, solid 30-pound jack, and it was guiding next to the boat as I'm trying to grab the tail, and it just kept going straight down.
And he didn't blow up the rod.
He didn't blow the rod up. I was very impressed with it. There was times when he was doing it that I was doing one of these, that oh God,
I know.
oh,
Yeah,
here
I
it
know.
comes. It's fixing to, I'm fixing to get shards in my
I
head.
make sure I got my sunglasses on.
We did not. I got the prototypes are still sitting in the garage. They're in good shape.
Well, they're listed on our website. They're available for pre-sale right now. They'll be delivered sometime in July. If you have any questions, want to talk about them, give me a call, 469-233-2356 between now and the end of July. If you want it personalized, meaning Captain Scott Null written on it, whatever, Chapman calligraphy is going to apply that to the rod before we ship it. So anything you need, give me a call. I would encourage anyone who wants to catch a Texas coast tarpon or fly fish, I guess artificial fish, shallow water in the middle Texas coast, to reach out to Captain Scott Null. What's your phone number?
281-450-2206.
Anything else you need, just give me a call. Thanks for watching.